Hello. How's it going? Hopefully you can hear me. If you can, please let me know. This is the first stream in a little while. And not totally convinced my settings are right. But we will make it work somehow. Well, I can't hear myself in my own ears, which I don't know why. Sounds good. Hey! I'm audible? Perfect. That will do. Happy New Year to everyone, and thank you for joining in, coming and saying hello. I've already seen a couple of people that I recognise. It's always nice to go live streaming and have a few people drop in. I feel very privileged. Audible, not visible. Visible is going to turn up in just a second. And just making sure that that's all good. There we go. Sorted. Oh, how are we all doing? Thanks to everyone for dropping by. Boom. Got it. I think it's been quite a few months since my last live stream. Hey Igor, how's it going, man? Hey, DIY investors. It's good to see you again, man. Happy New Year. I appreciate you dropping by. It was nice to communicate with you over email, however many months that was ago. That's pretty cool. I like what you're doing. Is there background music for you guys? I can never get this right. I need to sort it out or not. Either way, I might just be listening to music and you might not be. Either way, it doesn't matter. You can listen to your own music. I am not. I'm still working on this streaming shit. Nice to be here. Good to have you, man. Thank you for coming. Okay, as it is. Perfect. So, I thought I would. It was a little bit later in the day for me, but I thought, I'd like to go live and get back on it, and come and hang out again and chat some stuff with you guys, and I appreciate it. My voice is slightly gone, but hopefully it's all right. I figured it'd be okay. I don't really use Instagram. I do have an Instagram, but I don't really use it. So I probably won't answer you if you do. No offense. If you want to get hold of me, you can probably just DM me on Twitter, I guess. Probably the easiest way. That's probably the easiest way. If you message me on Instagram, I might get around to it. I just don't really go on there that often. So, did anybody get notified that I released a video earlier? Interesting to see how it works. It's yeah, good. I've had a few good videos actually, a few well-received videos recently. A couple of times, which I've been pretty happy with. It's been hard to seemingly like carry on growing the YouTube channel. It's like my stats have been extremely stagnant for a long time. I'm not complaining. I feel like I've done extremely well out of this, and I appreciate that entirely. And thank you to all of you guys who watch as well. I really appreciate that. Do I only use Python? I use Go as well, but I use Python mainly for web scraping, simply because it's really quick and easy to start up and get going. And like, if it's a simple site, you can have something up and running in just minutes. just makes your life, it's so easy. If you, the only downsides are like if you start to really get into it, but even then you can use Scrapey, but that's like a bit more in depth. I've been learning Go a lot more recently just because it's so different. Have I looked at the GPT? Yeah, I have. I watched everyone make videos about it, and everyone, like, there's a few people that sort of popped up on my timeline, and I was like, okay, their videos about ChatGPT are doing pretty well, and I was like, I'm not convinced. I don't know, to be honest. It's just like, I don't know. Everyone, I didn't want to like get on the train of, oh, is ChatGPT going to make everybody obsolete, when it's, everyone knows that clearly it isn't. Clearly it isn't. It's like, yeah, it's just, isn't it just a glorified search engine? It can just scan like repos and shit and really quickly, and can just write you a load of stuff up. It's pretty impressive, don't get me wrong, but we're far away from that. If someone started learning Python today, if you've got zero programming experience, then a couple of months. If you've got programming experience, then like a day. Python's pretty easy to pick up. To get started with web scraping, you really only need to know how to do things like set variables and do a few basic loops, and obviously you need to know data types. So if you know lists and dictionaries, you can get started. The harder part comes with like working out where the data is on the site and how you're going to get there and what methods you're going to use. Actually executing those methods is not too difficult. It's more about understanding the actual site itself. Anti-detection. It's in... Yeah, there's loads. People go really in depth about this, and there's a few blog posts that I've read, old ones actually now and newer ones, where people talk about having to actually like simulate real human behavior on a website by like moving mouse and stuff like that. And I find it quite interesting. I guess they really, really want that information. I don't know. It's not something I've come across too much, to be honest. There are some sites that just make it too difficult, and it just becomes not really worth the effort for what you're trying to achieve. But general basic evasion and like detection stuff is, if you're going to use Selenium, you need to use Selenium Stealth, because there's the tells that it sends the website from a standard Selenium point of view are just obvious. You need to get rid of them, because it just basically tells the site straight away that you're using the WebDriver. So you need to get rid of all of those, and the Selenium Stealth package is the easiest way to do that. And don't want to. A good thing that I found is if say you're looking through a website and you come across part of the page that you're trying to scrape, and it's like a bit more of a different URL, don't go straight to it, because if you go straight to something that's a bit more obscure, and a good example of this is like if you found the endpoint for the API or something like that, if you go directly to that, they'll know that the sort of like the scraping protection will know that that's not an often hit endpoint by users, so they'll be able to see it straight away. So you need to kind of follow the path through, and headers have that like referrer thing on as well, which is a good thing to keep in. So make sure your headers look as real as possible. Hide your WebDriver with Selenium, and try and use good proxies as well. How can I take my Python skills to the next level? By simply always trying to do it better. So if you find something, if for example someone says, if you see something somewhere and you're like, this person has done this better than I could do it, find out what they used and learn that. There's some JavaScript you can inject in Chrome. Yeah, you can get... Okay. Paid software? I don't know about that, I'm afraid. I'd be interested to see how it is, see what it is, but I'd be skeptical initially. Hey Kotech, how's it going, man? I'm good. How are you? You're going to get the first page and not the others. It's quite a vague question. That's all right, man. The things with pagination is you kind of got to work out how it works, and then you can reverse engineer it. So, I mean, you'd be surprised how often, like, if it just puts numbers in the page and you can just request it that way, most of the time I just do like a range because it's just the easiest way, and I'll just handle the exception at the end. It's not pretty and it's not particularly like clean, but at the end of the day, my goal is to have the data rather than have a really polished script that gets it. Now, don't get me wrong, like if the exceptions that I'm handling are going to compromise the information that I can get, then it needs to be better. But generally speaking, like you want to get you want the information. How you go about getting it is, it's not like secondary. Well, it is secondary, but it's not insignificant. I can't think of the right word that I'm looking for. You understand what I'm saying, I hope. So try and figure out how the pages work and just try and reverse engineer it from there. If it's JavaScript, you need to find out what the JavaScript is doing. So I'd be deeming that, yeah, that's exactly what I said. You got it, man. You got it. Donato, hello from Italy. Hey. Hello from the UK. How do I run scripts automatically? You just became comfortable with Python in the last 3 months. Yeah, so I run all of mine on DigitalOcean. I just have a droplet that costs like, I don't know, $5 a month, and I just run loads of scripts on there. I do that because it's a lot of the stuff is, I suppose, I can't really gauge, but maybe like, let's just say half of it is APIs where you've got proper API key, so it doesn't matter, and the other half is not. So I use proxies for those, so it doesn't matter, because if you put your code on like a VPS, like DigitalOcean or Linode or any of those ones, then you're using their VPS IP, which means you're probably going to get blocked straight away, even though it's going to work on your machine. But because I use the proxies for those, generally speaking, I will just set it up. My code's all on my private GitHub. I just download it all. Or if you're using Go, you can just upload the binary, which is fantastic. That's why I love Go so much. You just compile it into a binary and you can just run it on your server. And as long as you've got your proxies in there, it's just no problem, and you just cron job it. You can do it from home too if you have like a home server. Raspberry Pis are pretty handy for that sort of thing, but I guess they're really hard to come by now, and they're not that cheap either. What's good is you could, if you're willing to pay the minimal, I suppose, depending on where you're from, electricity bill, you can get the like old micro PCs from like Dell or HP or something. I would run Linux on them, but I guess that's because I'm familiar with Linux. And you can just keep them running and just run the cron jobs on there, and then all you got to do is pay the electricity fee. How do you find free proxy scraping? There's loads of free proxy websites out there. Most of them I honestly wouldn't trust. There was a good GitHub repo for free proxies, but it got removed because, I guess, I don't really trust free proxies. Some of them do work, and oh shit. Right. Let me know if there's now a lag in between my voice and the audio. I had this problem last time because my screensaver just came on, and I think that knocks my audio out of voice. My audio and my video out of sync. If it does and it's not too bad, just let me know. You don't really need to see me, I'm just talking. Oh, I lost my train of thought then. Yeah, there is. Yeah, there's a bit of lag. I think I can resolve it by stopping the stream and coming back. I'm going to try that.